私自身があなたにそばにいていただきたいのです。
私にはやらなければならないことがあるので。ですが、何かあればすぐに駆けつけます。
冗談です。カエル様の慌てた顔が見られたので、よしとしましょう。それでは道中、お気をつけて。
え？お手遊ばれたのか？
急に何？
まあ、もともと変なやつだけど。
What's going on, my friends? Today we're talking about new Saga episode number 6. And if you guys remember, if you don't, if it's your first time clicking on one of my videos, I'm Dom from the Otaku Room. What's up? How you doing? Click the like button for me. Last week in episode 5, we talked about how thank God that episode got better because episode 4 was one of the worst episodes of the season and of the show for sure. It really led us on and it really wasted our time. But episode 5 I thought was much better. And oh my God, episode 6, really good. And I had that realization as the show was wrapping up, as the episode was wrapping up. I was like, was this a really, really good episode of the show? And I thought it showed a few different things, right? So the Kyle fight with Zarius, whatever the guy's name was, his fight with his former teacher mentor, I thought was quick, but also it hit to the point, right? Like it gave us just enough a little bit of a flashback. It gave us that moment to where Kyle kind of had the one-up hand. At the end of the day, he did surpass him. He is the hero who defeated the Demon King, whatever. Like, he is the guy. So he has all of his traits, his teacher's traits and moves and more out of necessity. But, he knew what he was going to do, and he surpassed him. And he even allowed the little dragon heart thing to fall out, and he told him sorry and whatever else. And he also found where his loyalty lied, which was in the kingdom, which he said that in the flashback that his kingdom was gone, but he was very, very dedicated to his kingdom, whatever. And then he said it again when he died of like, oh, I'm sorry, my king, right? My liege, my king, whatever he said. And that also led to another moment where Kyle was, as the hero in his past life, was talking to the king and begged and pleaded with him to partner with the dwarves or whatever else. But because the king was always worried about his brand and reputation and how he was going to be remembered, because of that, the king was a piece of shit and led to their downfall, right? Like, the king got what came to him, but it ruined a lot of things. Like, lives could have been saved and partnerships could have been made and whatever else. So Kyle didn't forget that, which is really good, which is a good thing to know. But the fight wrapped up and, Kyle killed his former teacher, and one of the people in his repertoire of wanting to save, he wanted to save Licey and Theron and Urza and some of the other people that we have yet to meet. I think the Saintess, right? Was Urza the Saintess, or was there other Saints? I don't remember. But there's a plethora of people, but one of them was also his teacher. He wanted to save his teacher as well because his teacher fell in battle, right? His brother in arms, whatever else. He had to do what he had to do for the greater good, kind of thing. He's a hero who sacrificed everybody, so he's not averse and not foreign to having a sacrifice. So I thought the fight really hit home. Then we move on to the princess stuff, and he takes advantage of it, and they get medals and they get recognized, and the king goes he's like, oh, thank you, not as a king but as a father for saving my daughter. Let alone the whole time the king was the one pulling the strings. He wanted his daughter out of the mix because his daughter was so smart and cunning and a political saboteur that he knew the moment that the crown passed to his daughter and she was queen, she was going to pass him and do things that he could never do, and he wouldn't be remembered as the king. He'd just be remembered as the queen's dad, right? Like the person before, So he had this big ego and piece of shit, you know what I mean? And thankfully Kyle recognized that, and he goes, and the thing that solidified the episode, I was like, yeah, this is a goat tier episode, was Kyle goes to assassinate the king, and he gives him like, in my past life, I was a hero and I needed you to do XYZ, and you refused because of your big ego, and that's what led to the downfall of this and this, but your daughter, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, and he threw him off the roof. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And I was like, God damn, Kyle, ruthless. So 2 moments that shows that Kyle will do what needs to be done. And I don't know, it just like, it elevated the episode for me to show that Kyle's got that dog in him, and I already kind of felt that a little bit because we had a moment, he had a moment where he made a move on Lise, like, and then he had a moment with Urza, too, when they were doing a little dance ritual, whatever it was. But this episode showed me like, yo, he got that dog in him, and that really did elevate my enjoyment of the episode. And then now, he was flirting with the princess, and the princess wants to keep him close, whatever, because she sees like, yo, this is the guy, like this is the dude. So now he's off to go do an errand where he's gonna break off her engagement and stuff like that. He's gonna be the postman. He's gonna be the the note deliverer. And he's also gonna go make ties between the kingdom, whatever. He's gonna go solve some shit. So I was like, man, this got, it gave us some political intrigue between the kingdoms and relationships, and who the princess was previously promised to, and this other kingdom. And so it gave us like a lot of good stuff. And then on top of it, Kyle got that dog in him. So like, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm feeling it. Like, I just think the episode last week and this week, together, they have now elevated the show to where I thought like what we were getting originally. But there was a couple episodes that like, but I feel like now we're back, which is good. So hopefully it continues this run. Cause I was like, yeah, this episode is really good. Also, side note, for all of I just happened to pull up my anime list randomly because, I forget character names and stuff, but the voice actor, for anybody who wants to go and fangirl or fanboy, the voice actor for Lise is pretty hot. So take that with what you will. All right, my friends, I'm going to see you guys next week. I look forward to your commentary in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say and see if you guys kind of feel the same way as I do about, like, is this the same show we've been watching? Because that's kind of how I feel right now, which is a good thing because it's a positive. See you next week for episode 7. Peace.